If you're having a difficult time selling your listing, then this video is for you. Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of a Realtor, where we are building beautiful realtor physiques one exercise at a time. I'm your personal trainer, Mike Seeler, and here are my top 15 reasons why I believe most listings don't sell. I hope that this video can be useful for you to help identify the culprit and maybe help you get that listing sold. Reason number one is poor curb appeal. A home can be well built in a great neighborhood, and if buyers don't get the warm fuzzies when they drive up that driveway, you might just be killing the deal right then and there. Now think pressure washer, paint, mulch, flowers. These are small improvements that can go a long way. I also like to think about furniture, outdoor furniture. The best part of this is if you can convince your seller to upgrade some outdoor furniture, they can oftentimes take that with them to their new property. Number two is outdated interiors. This is one of my personal favorites because as somebody who's flipped several homes and worked with many buyers, I can see how buyers have a difficult time seeing through small upgrades that would make a home otherwise perfectly good to live in. So think about paint, upgrading fixtures like knobs and receptacles, that sort of thing. And then staging is so important. If you have any pink walls in the house, get them painted with a neutral color. You can even paint cupboards and that sort of thing. Not a huge upgrade, but making the property far more sellable. Number three is lack of maintenance and uncleanliness. If you went to a restaurant and you went into the washrooms and they're filthy, it really changes your perspective on the restaurant. So making sure you have a clean yard and when people go in, it's a nice and clean and tidy home, sends a message that the home is well maintained. Hire a good cleaner, and while you're in there, start to fix some of the small things that you have control over. The caulking, upgrading the light bulbs, like burnt out light bulbs are a peeve of mine. Do that sort of thing and that'll go a long way. Number four is poor marketing. So if you don't have staging, professional photography, video, graphic design, that sort of thing, you're probably short of reaching your full potential audience. So after you have all those things, make sure you utilize all the resources available to you, all the mediums, and reach as many eyes as possible. Now, I used to think that I couldn't create buyers, but the reality is that many homeowners don't know they're ready for an upgrade until they see a listing presented to them. So a homeowner might see the video online or get a postcard in the mail and realize that, hey, maybe it's time for us to upgrade. They're going to call you and you're going to have 3 deals under your belt. Number 5 are difficult sellers. And I can't tell you how many times in my career that I've seen and witnessed difficult sellers kill deals from being there at every showing to being unnegotiable on price. I mean, cash offer $10,000, $20,000 under asking and they refuse to sign back and the deal just falls apart right there. Blows my mind. And not being accommodating with showing, so having very tight windows. All these things can turn away a buyer, and I actually don't have a lot of great advice. You just have to work on your sellers and try to get them to be a little bit more reasonable or accommodating. Number 6 is unpleasant odors. Did I mention that real estate is largely a psychology game? I mean, you wouldn't eat a hamburger that smelled like socks, or maybe you would if you like blue cheese. You wouldn't want to put on a shirt that smells like mold. And so in the same way, when people come into a home and they have all these funky smells that they're dealing with, psychologically, they're just like, they've already tapped out. So maybe they're dog people and maybe the buyer's a dog person and the smells collide and everyone's home sweet home. Probably not. So if you have a dog, litter boxes to me are the most offensive smell on the planet. Make sure that they're kept clean. Put them outside, whatever you have to do. Make sure during home showings the home smells its best. Try not to overdo it. Ozone machines are a great tool. Number 7 is over personalization and clutter. Again, this is a psychological challenge for many buyers, and you might sit there as an agent saying, I don't see how they can't see through this stuff, and it's just someone else's belongings. But there's a lot of studies out there, a lot of experiments that show that some people just see things differently and they can't see past things. They're trying to buy a home for themselves, and if the home just radiates somebody else's home, then they can't get past it. So it's our job to encourage the sellers to depersonalize, remove those personal photos, try to make a blank canvas so a buyer can visualize themselves living in that home. Number 8 is lack of light. Now, please don't run down to your local Value Village and pick up every used lamp that they have First and foremost, you want to upgrade the existing fixtures with higher wattage bulbs. One of my personal peeves is when people mix the temperature of bulbs. So pick your bright white or your warm bulb, be consistent with it, and then consider getting an electrician in to actually improve areas that should be bright. So if people are walking into a living room and it's dark, or a kitchen, the upgrade to put in some good shallow pot lights into a kitchen, it's not that expensive and can go a long way to selling the main rooms of a home. Number 9 is it's too old. Now, I live in a century home. I understand the draw of an old home. People like the old stained glass window and the original hardwood floors and that trim. I mean, if you try to install that original wood trim today, it would cost you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. But people don't want to buy the old features that suck in an old home, from old windows to walls that don't have insulation on them, the tiles in the ceiling that probably have asbestos in them. You want to consider upgrading the homes, and this isn't something you can do retrospectively. I mean, if you're conditioning a seller that's planning on selling a home in the next 1 or 2 years, these are things that they might consider upgrading to ensure the house is more sellable when it's time to sell. Again, doing this retrospectively, you can't just go back and say, well, I think you should just upgrade your windows. It's going to take months to, measure, order them, have them installed, cladded, and all that sort of thing. Number 10 is an undesirable home layout. Now, this one was always huge for me when I was coaching buyers and buying homes. If the home had a terrible layout, I mean, short of blowing out walls, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes there's the kid's bedroom is off of the living room, or the main bathroom is off of the kitchen. I mean, maybe if you can turn that bathroom into a pantry and put the bathroom somewhere else in the house, it might be an upgrade that would increase the value of the home, and it might be a check mark. But 9 times out of 10, a bad layout is just a bad layout, and some builders just shouldn't have been given permission to build. Probably the best thing you can do with a home with a poor layout is have a professional stager come in and really try to enhance the flow of the home. Number 11 is lack of storage. Now, if your home doesn't have a lot of storage and every closet is filled to the brim with stuff, that's just sending a clear message to buyers that the home doesn't have enough storage. So make sure that if a home doesn't have a lot of storage, that the storage that it does have is clean and organized. Consider packing boxes, getting those boxes out of the house, adding some freestanding storage, building in creative storage like under staircases, that sort of thing. But storage is important. We have different seasons. We want to be able to put our winter gear away or our Christmas trees away, that sort of thing. Number 12 are unfinished projects and an obvious DIYer home. Now, we're all guilty of this. I mean, we do 99% of a renovation and we leave the trim undone. It's usually a couple days work for a good handyman to come in and bang off those small unfinished projects, and those projects send a clear message that the home has been well kept and taken care of. So make sure that these little things are done. Now, a lot of those projects you can help do if you're a little bit handy yourself, but make sure that you get these projects done to send a clear message to the buyer that this is a pride of ownership home. Number 13 are material facts. So these are facts about the property. Maybe to your seller, they're perfect. They're happy with them. They're okay with them. But to buyers, they are deal breakers. I think about mutual laneways. I never liked selling homes with mutual laneways. That's a story for another day. A pool in the backyard, that could be a material fact that is preventing the sale. The fact that you're located across the road from a sewage plant or on a busy road, those sort of things. There's not a lot of things you can do about material facts, but it is important that you inform your seller about these material facts, why their house might not be selling. It may be reflected in the sale price, or you might do things to lessen the effect of that material fact. I mean, with mutual driveway, is there an opportunity to put in another laneway on the property so that there is at least some private parking? With the sewage plant across the road or the noisy road, can you put up hedges to create a barrier? That sort of thing. Number 14 are patent and latent defects. So a patent defect is a defect that you can see, and a latent defect is one that you can't see. At the end of the day, they're both defects, and if you're disclosing them or if the buyer knows about them, it could be a deal breaker right then and there. Oftentimes when we think about defects, we think about structural problems, we think about flooding basements and that sort of thing. If you have them, it might be worth it just to bite the bullet, get an engineer in, get a contractor in, and fix the problem so you don't need to disclose it anymore. I mean, maybe it's $10,000. But maybe you're saving $30,000 or $40,000 on the sale. So consider addressing the defects. It's usually not as scary as you think. Number 15 is bad location. We talked about busy roads and sewage plants in the material facts, but I also think about neighborhoods. Now, when neighborhoods are first created, they're usually the cream of the crop. They're the brand new thing. They're in good locations, and then they start to get tired and run down, and people upgrade, and then people turn these neighborhoods into rentals and that sort of thing. But then oftentimes these neighborhoods become the only affordable neighborhoods, and so new families move in, they start to improve them and revitalize them, and they become good neighborhoods again. So try to sell potential when it comes to neighborhoods like that. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to sell a home for its highest and best use. If it is a family home in a bad neighborhood with a lot of rentals, maybe you do need to market it as an amazing investment or income property opportunity. Now, if you're watching this video and you have a listing that's been sitting on the market, sometimes dealing with these issues retrospectively can be super difficult. I hope that getting listings in the future, you would look at a list like this and address these problems far before you put them on the market. Maybe you'll need to cancel the listing, do the improvements, get it relisted, remarketed, that sort of thing. Either way, I hope you have success selling your listing, and I look forward to seeing you guys back on the next video. What kind of setbacks have you had when selling a listing? I'd love to hear about your stories in the comment section below. Take care for now.